Hi, and welcome to We Wealth Woman. I am your host, Athena Gardner, CPA and founder of We Wealth Woman, where I help teach women how to live a wonderful, wealthy, confident goddess life. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to discuss, all right, the topic of the century, which is money and relationships, right? And this is an important topic that we all must discuss, right? Because this topic affects us all right? It doesn't matter what financial bracket you live in, honey. If you're breathing on earth, money and relationships impact you significantly. If you're new here, please like and subscribe to the channel. Don't be a stranger. And if you are watching this live, feel free to comment and participate. And if you're watching the replay, thank you and consider subscribing, right? Just like good old Erica B711 says, this is about to be good. All right. First things first, ladies, because I have to gather you guys. I have to get you guys together, honey. I wanted to come with some stats, right? I wanted to come with some receipts. So 59% of Americans say that finances are a significant source of stress in their relationships. And financial problems are cited as a major cause of divorce, with money issues contributing to nearly 41% of divorces. So, what this stat lets me know is how important money is to the success of a relationship. But the funny thing about that is money is not really discussed a lot. It's not really discussed in our upbringing with our family. And even before you get into these relationships, even as you're dating, as you're meeting people, you're not really having these conversations off the bat. But it contributes greatly to the success of your relationship, right? So in today's video, what I want to help you guys understand is not only the importance of money in relationships, but how should you go about your relationships, understanding that it is, right? And I'm going to be tackling some important topics for you to consider when it comes to that. And we're going to talk about 50-50, right? Should you be doing that? We're going to be talking about financial infidelities. We're going to talk about financial planning, of course. And these are the topics I feel are really essential, right? If you have any questions as I'm talking and you're watching this live, please free to comment and I'll try to address those questions. If you are watching the replay, leave a comment in the comment section and I will try to respond then, right? So let's get into it. So the reason why I wanted to have this conversation is because we need to get better at communicating when it comes to having discussions about money, right? And hold on one second, I need to take a sip. This girl's parched. Yes. So we need to get better at our communication when it comes to money. And the reason why a lot of us have poor communication around this is because we have a lot of shame, we have a lot of guilt. Because oftentimes, especially in childhood, honey, I know our parents don't like that. But oftentimes, especially in childhood, if you especially grew up in an environment where you communicated a need that involved money somehow, and you were just told to be grateful, or you were told that it's too expensive, or you were told some kind of messaging that said, you know what, you stop being dependent, stop, that your needs wasn't important, that you couldn't afford it. Usually you develop a mindset where, okay, it's not really good or comfortable to have these conversations. Now, that may be impacting your familial relationships, but that definitely translates into your romantic relationships, the ones that lead to partnership, the one that leads to marriage, because now you have a framework around money that doesn't necessarily serve you, because you're going to be uncomfortable discussing certain financial aspects and you're not going to be able to communicate fully what you really want and need. Oftentimes, especially with women, there's so much we're trying to avoid shame, or we're trying to protect ourselves. So instead of fully communicating needs, wants, and desires, especially when it comes around expectations of money in a relationship, we take an approach where we try to either protect our feelings and ourselves, which i.e. translates to not asking as much, or we just avoid the topic completely. Now, this is problematic because, as the stats showed, right, taking that approach, especially in the beginning of a relationship, is not healthy, because almost 60% of people in relationships say that finances are the most significant source of stress. So and then 41% cite it as a major cause of divorce. Now, I forgot the exact number. I used to know. I think it's either number 2 or number 3. But finances were listed in the top 3 reasons why relationships end. So you don't want to have communication around this when you're in the middle of the relationship. I would say before you even commit to a long-term committed relationship partnership, to have these discussions in the dating, courting process. You're going to especially want to have this conversation sooner rather than later, so you can kind of weed out undesirable people, but also you need to assess financial compatibility, because that is so important. It is one of the most important things about a relationship. Now, it could be taboo. It really is taboo to have these money conversations, right? Because you don't want to be accused of being a gold digger. You don't want to be accused of all this. A lot of this is usually around shame, but it is necessary for us to still have it, because you want to pay the price up front as a woman. I'm going to keep it 100. You want to find out what you need to find out right away, because in the middle and in the end, those surprises cost way more than the little bit of discomfort you will feel in the beginning, right? Especially if you could avoid a divorce, especially if you could avoid a struggle relationship. Comment struggle. Comment no struggle if you agree that you want to avoid that as much as possible, right? We don't believe in struggling. Hard work is not our ministry over here, right? So when do you have conversations around money in relationships? I say in the beginning. I say before you agree to be in a long-term commitment, to have these conversations. Questions you can ask a potential partner could be, what role do you want to take on in the relationship when it comes to finances, right? That way you're not imposing your will on that person, and you're giving them the room to fully express what it is they want and what it is they desire in a relationship financially, right? So that's a very no pressure way to ask, right? And I would start from there and follow their lead on how they wanted to take the relationship. And also take note, if they're apprehensive, if they are, not wanting to have a communication, this could be an issue in your relationship, right? Also, watch their financial habits and their generosity, especially in the beginning, because that also signifies mindset, right? Is this person acting very cheap and frugal? Are you okay with that? Right? Is this person a spender and you're a saver? Are you a saver and they're a spender, right? Take note of these things, because this is going to very much impact your experience of this person in your relationship. And every time, and ladies, let me know if you want me to do a dating video, a dating or relationship video, because I will, honey, I will. But every time I'm dating or I'm meeting someone, I always say to myself throughout the process, is this the relationship I'm trying to have? Is this the experience I'm trying to have? Is this how I want my partner to financially show up for me, right? And those are questions you can ask for yourself as well. Okay. The most important questions. Now, what I want to segue to is a very controversial dating topic on these internet streets, honey. And I was very hesitant to even touch this, but I was like, this must be discussed. especially in the money and relationship video, which is 50-50. The 50-50 topic. Now, I know I might be roasted a little bit by some of you touching on this topic, but I'm willing to be roasted like a Hawaiian luau pig, because I'm gonna ride, especially for the ladies. Now, 50-50, right? In these, especially these dating streets, honey, everyone's having these arguments. Should men pay all the bills? Should we do 50-50? Should women contribute, right? Now, before I even give any kind of guidance in this area, I will say that it is your life. Whatever is best for you and that you are comfortable with and happy with, then that is what you do, right? Whatever is best for you and you are comfortable and happy with, that is for you. I know women who feel like they want to be 100% kept and not have to contribute. I know women who feel more comfortable contributing to certain things, right? Especially because they don't want, to feel like they're being controlled by the man because he pays everything, right? I know men who only want to split half the bills like a roommate situation, and I know men who have fully wanted to pay all the bills, right? So what is most important in this piece of the 50-50 situation is that you and your partner have compatibility on that topic, right? So if you are meeting someone or dating someone and they want you to pay half of the bills, but you are not a half of the bills type of girl, then you know that this is not a person for you, right? Or if you meet someone and they want to pay all the bills and that is what you want, then that's great, right? Now, personally, all right, this is my opinion, right? Opinion is not a fact. You do not need to live by it. You do not need to even take anything I say even today as anything, right? This is my observation hat now. I have noticed that, especially in heteronormative relationships with a man and a woman, 50-50 relationships don't tend to work out long term, one. And the woman feels a lot of resentment too, right? Because she will, most of the times, those women who are in 50-50 relationships feel like they're doing more work elsewhere in the relationship, either at the house or the emotional labor, unpaid emotional labor that she contributes to relationship, and she ends up feeling like she's just with a roommate with a man that's not really doing as much. That is a general consensus. And I've also seen in situations where that is the case, that it's also a mindset attached to that. Most men, I feel like, that do those situations don't feel the need to do more. They don't strive to, increase, to go after, to elevate more in their career. They get very comfortable. Okay, listen, if any man watch this video, don't come for me. They get very comfortable with that. And also, I have noticed, especially men who I have gone on dates with that have had this mentality, that they have not been the most generous or even the most kind. There's a mindset that goes along with it. It's not just the whole, okay, we're just going to split these bills. The mindset that goes along with it is generally not what a woman wants to do. As a woman, and I understand that we are in economic times and inflation and, unrest, right? I believe that a man in your life should pay more financially than you, right? Whatever percentage you work that out to be, if it's he pay 100, you pay 0%. If he pays 70 and you pay 30%, even if it's 60-40%, right? I feel that he needs to do more. And also with that, it's not just that he feel that he needs to do more. He needs to be a man who is okay with that. It shouldn't be that you're forcing him to do more, right? Because with that comes resentment, with that comes anger, and it is not indicative of the mindset thing as well. If he's doing it because you're forcing him to, it's still not going to solve a problem because, like I said earlier, the mindset thing is going to kick in. So when it comes to 50-50, I'm not a fan of it. I personally believe men need to do more. There's a lot of other reasons behind that concept as well. I will be putting that behind a paywall to dive into that abyss, honey. But trust me, this is not what you want to do, ladies. He needs to be able to do more. If he can't take on the whole load, that is understandable, but he needs to do more, my opinion. All right. So if you are just joining us and you're watching us live, please free to like and subscribe to the channel, of course, and comment down below, right? Do you have a financial strategy for your relationship success? What are you doing in your relationship to make sure that you are having financial success? And also comment down below any other questions or things you would like for me to address. So what I also want to touch on are some other statistics that I think that we all need to understand. That money touches deeply in relationships, right? So 30% of couples have experienced financial infidelity, which includes, now let me zoom this in so you guys can read, so your eyelids can peel back. This includes hiding purchases, debts, or accounts from a partner, okay? So financial thievery and deception in a relationship. Also, couples who are financially compatible, and this is what we've been talking about and what this whole video is about as well, meaning they have similar financial goals and spending habits, report higher levels of relationship satisfaction. So that means we cannot ignore these things, right? We can't ignore these things. These things are so important, right? I want to touch on a topic that is not really touched on a lot when it comes to discussing money, which is financial infidelity. Financial infidelity. All right. And I'm going to expound more on what that is because this is quite common, right? So financial infidelity occurs when one partner in a relationship withholds financial information from the other and engages in secretive financial behaviors or makes financial decisions without the knowledge or consent of their partner. So this can manifest in a myriad of ways, honey. Hidden purchases, secret accounts, concealed debts, unrecorded income, right? Undisclosed financial problems, such as keeping financial troubles or issues such as bankruptcy or a significant drop in income, gambling or risky investments, engaging in those type of things as well, right? The statistic that I know of when it comes to financial infidelity is that 45% of people have experienced financial infidelity of some form in their relationship, financial deception. Okay. It can manifest as I got my whole side piece across town that I'm paying for. It can manifest as gambling. It can manifest as I have money going into secret accounts that you don't know, right? It can manifest as I've taken out debts in your name, debts that you don't know about, right? So as you are engaging with people and having relationships, right? you need to not only, because these are necessarily things that you'll pick up right away or even discuss right away, right? But what is so important when it comes to that, right? Because someone can listen, we live in a very interesting time. People can hide all kind of things, right? There are things even a background check can't even pick up. I remember I was watching I love attorney Simone Redwine. Love attorney Simone Redwine. If you ever go on her channel, Girl, Is That Legal? Amazing. Amazing, right? I remember she was on Ready to Love and she was Rashid, and that was a whole thing. And she just did a few months ago an interview about why they broke up. And he had a lot of financial deception and financial infidelity. He had debts and other, even though listen now, she ran the background check on him. It still did not find the debts that he took out on other people's names. He was hiding money from her, taking money out of accounts, all kind of stuff, right? All kind of things. And it was attributed to a pattern of behavior, right? But there were always signs, right? So a person's character, because how a man does one thing is how a man does everything, right? And I'm meaning people in general, not just men. How a person does one thing is how they do everything. So look at patterns in their behavior, right? Look for patterns in their behavior. If this person has risky behavior, if they're very prone to different type of addictions, if they don't have an even keel temperament, there's just certain types of behaviors that will be like almost like a smoke signal for other things, right? You can run the background checks and the credit reports and things like that. Will you ever fully 100% have security over what a person does financially? No. That's why relationships rely so heavily on trust. But you need to be aware that this is something that a lot of people experience, not even just romantic partners, not even family members now. Okay. A lot of people have had family members steal from them, ruin their identity, open up accounts in their names, take money from their name, right? I think the other day I was on a show with Fly Nubian Money. We're discussing a mom who spent their daughter's inheritance from the father. So these financial deceptions is something that I want you guys to look out for. So what does all this mean? I have said a lot. Okay, I'm giving you a lot on this topic. What it all comes down to, though, is that you as a person cannot ignore proper financial planning, especially when it comes to your relationships, right? You need to have relationships that align with your financial planning for your life and your goals for your life. And I know that's not sexy. I know that is not, the most enticing thing, right? But as your wealth coach, I have to tell you these things, right? Because there's an emotional and relational side to money that is not discussed, that is often not discussed, right? So what does that necessarily mean, right? You have to plan as you're meeting, dating, having relationships with people. Is this person good for me financially, right? If I were to enter a business agreement with them, say you want to get a partnership together and do a business, and this is not even romantic, this is like maybe two friends coming together to do a business. And I remember my ex actually had a business partner. I'll tell you this story. I have an ex who when I met him, he had a business partner, and I was just observing. I knew nothing about the business. They had a tech business, computer business, but I just observed his partner. And I remember early on in dating, I think it was a month or two in, I told him, I was like, I don't think you guys are gonna last long in business together. And I told him I feel like he needs to break away from him, right? Because I was noticing his patterns of behavior. He was very reckless with money. He was very reckless in his personal life. He was very reckless in his personal life, and I knew that translated business-wise, right? He wasn't organized. His personal life mirrored what was happening in the business. And I told my ex at the time I was dating him, I said, listen, I don't think this is going to work. I think it took a year or two for them to break apart. But had he just listened to me in the beginning, he could have saved himself a lot of time, headache, and money, right? Because that holds true. How a person shows up and the things that they do, their patterns of behavior, their mindset replicates in everything else, right? So when you are planning for your life, when you're planning for if you want children, if you want to travel, anything that is financially related, what kind of careers that you want, right? What kind of careers that you want? What are the things that you want to accomplish in your life? How much you want to invest in a business, those types of things. Can you do those things and accomplish those things with the person you're picking as a partner? Right? And I feel like, especially in relationships, the reason why a lot of relationships don't last is because we're not assessing or having necessary conversations around money, around the important things. Everything is about a show. It's about a vibe. It's about a look, right? It's about, am I attracted to you, and can we have great conversation? Which attraction can grow and conversation can grow. But I remember just listening to certain, I don't want to put anybody's business out there, but I remember I would ask, I've had friends who have dated in different situations, right? And they had partners for a year, but this was race related things. This wasn't financial, but it still applies. And they'll eventually find out that the person they were dating was racist or sexist or something, which will always shock me because I would assume in certain situations you would have these conversations in the beginning. You're 2 years in and you don't know that this person has these type of ideals. You don't know how they feel about race, how they feel about money, how they feel about gender roles. And these are how they feel about politics. Politics is popular right now. And these are hot topics, and I know it can be uncomfortable, especially in the beginning of a dating situation. You want things to be fun and light. But before you agree to the long-term commitment, these are the conversations that need to be had. And it just surprises me that they're not being had, right? And I know that, sexual chemistry is important and attraction is an important thing. And being able to have a dialogue and an energy is important. But like the statistics shows, right? If 59% are saying that finances are a significant source of stress in their relationships, and 41% of the people saying that is a cause of divorce, this is a topic that cannot be avoided. This is a conversation that needs to be had. So in closing, because I know I done said a lot, honey, right? I know I done preached a little word today. Money and relationships are important, and it's very important that you communicate this sooner rather than later with your partners or potential partners so you can be on the same page. Because agreeing on this topic is one of the indicators of relationship success. So you want to agree on whatever it is, whether it's 50-50 or more, right? It is going to be important, and to keep a lookout on any kind of behavior that's risky, that can lead to financial infidelity as well, right? All this can be achieved with a good financial plan, which will prioritize not only your money, but your goals for your life and what it is that you want to achieve for your life. Now, if you're watching and you don't have a great financial plan and you're a woman, you can always sign up for my Goddess Guide to Money course that is available on my website, wewealthwomen.com, right? You can find it under courses, right? wewealthwomen.com/courses. I have other courses in the works, and you can sign up for the waitlist for those at waitlist.wewealthwomen.com as well, right? So you don't have to be out here unsure about how to set yourself up, right? And I want you guys to know that while this topic is uncomfortable, because to be honest, a lot of us are not used to or raised in a way to have these uncomfortable conversations, it's a big reason why we're seeing so much, chaos around relationships. Is because we're not willing to deal with the discomfort in the beginning, right? In the beginning, we want a fantasy, and then the circus shows up because we didn't want to communicate around these issues, right? I also want to let you guys know that there is a free preview of that course, The Goddess Guide to Money, available at my website as well, right? So how do you guys feel about all the information I've shared today? Do you feel relieved? Do you feel more prepared? Do you feel more secure? Do you feel like you have more of a roadmap on how to approach money and relationships, right? I want you to comment down below how you're feeling, right? And make sure, if you like this video, to follow us on all social media platforms as well. But I am Athena, founder of We Wealth Women, here to provide you with the information you need to live your best wealthy goddess life and to create and manifest the confident financial decisions in your life to create the lifestyle that you desire. This was an episode on money and relationships, and I hope to see you in the next one.